Say, Bob, isn't it almost time for our cup of...
Coffee? Yes, it is, Warren. Won't you be host?
With pleasure. Friends, wherever you may be, all over the country, we invite you all again to join us in this famous old Thursday evening custom. A moment's relaxation over a steaming, fragrant cup of Maxwell House coffee. Pull up your chairs, won't you, and have your coffee with us. And while you're sipping it, I'd like to say one thing more. Before we're on the air again, it will be Easter morning. Say, Bob, isn't it almost time for our cup of...
Coffee? Yes, it is, Warren. Won't you be host?
With pleasure. Friends, wherever you may be, all over the country, we invite you all again to join us in this famous old Thursday evening custom. A moment's relaxation over a steaming, fragrant cup of Maxwell House coffee. Pull up your chairs, won't you, and have your coffee with us. And while you're sipping it, I'd like to say one thing more. Before we're on the air again, it will be Easter morning, and we hope you will awake to find it gloriously bright and shining. And on behalf of Maxwell House and our Good News cast, we wish you a very joyous Easter. Meredith? We pause briefly for station identification.
KFI, Los Angeles.
This is Bob Young again, and we continue our Good News Maxwell House program with Lionel Barrymore, Kitty Carlisle, and Meredith Wilson. Tonight, the MGM Theater of the Air presents Lionel Barrymore in one of the most famous roles he ever created, his great picture drama, The Voice of Bugle Ann. Our story begins in the warden's office of the state prison in a Midwestern city. The warden has sent for one of the prisoners, Springfield Davis, played by Lionel Barrymore. Spring Davis is now 75 years old and has served 4 years in prison.
You sent for me, Warden?
I suppose you're curious to know what this is all about, Pop.
Well, about the only thing I could figure was maybe I wasn't doing so well with the flowers, Mr. Hanrahan. Maybe you were sending me to another prison.
Oh, they're beautiful. I don't know where I'll get another gardener your equal. No, Pop, you're free.
Free? Why, well, the judge said 20 years. It's only nigh under 4.
This is a pardon from the governor.
And then I can go home?
That's it.
But it's kind of got me stumped. The governor don't know me, and I never ain't had the honor of meeting him.
Well, perhaps you've got some influential friends.
No, I guess not. At leastwise, not that I can remember being on speaking terms with.
Well, generally, the prisoners have a pretty good idea of who's responsible for a pardon. Suppose you tell me something about your case, and maybe we can figure it out.
Well, sir, if you want to understand why I'm here, the first thing you got to know is this. The only thing I really give a darn about, except my wife and son Benji, is hounds and hunting. There's a lot of us down there in my part of the state feels the same way. We breed our own hounds to hunt the fox, and we train them ourselves, too. Well, sir, one night about 5 years ago, a hound of mine named Molly Pitcher left 5 pups. One of them was kind of ugly, off-color little runt, but we saved them all, even the runt, and who seemed to be especially fond of me for some reason. You know how some hounds are.
I got to say one thing, Spring. That there runt at least has manners.
Oh, she's developing right nice in more ways than one. Guess she kind of takes to me. Going to be a fine hound, Ma.
I hope you're not going to be disappointed. She's got a voice like a little rabbit squeak.
Oh, we can't tell anything about her voice yet. She's only a baby. Give her time. Give her time, and maybe it'll be something beautiful.
Oh, Lady Ann is learning awful fast.
Yes. That pup's developing sense. Wouldn't be surprised if she turned out to be the best hound we ever had.
Did you hear her, Pa?
Why, Ann's got a bugle voice. Here, Ann. Say, Ma! Oh, Ma!
Yes, Spring. What is it?
Ma, we just heard Ann's voice. It's the sweetest voice in the world. It's just like a bugle.
And pray, what's a bugle voice?
Well, it's music, that's all. Come on, Ann. Bugle for Ma. Bugle, Ann. That's the name I'm giving her. Go ahead. Bugle, Ann.
Sounds ordinary to me.
Oh, shucks. Well, pretty soon we started Bugle Ann fox hunting, and her voice could be heard high and clear above all the rest of them. Well, sir, I reckon I was about the proudest and happiest man in the state with that hound until old Jake Terry moved back into the neighborhood. He took over the old Camden place that had been left to his wife before she died and moved in with his daughter. Pretty girl about 18, named with her mother's family name. Camden Terry was sweet like all her folks was, but this Jake Terry was mean. What's more, he didn't like hounds and hunting. The first thing we heard, he said he was going to raise sheep and build a wire fence to keep them in. Of course, Mr. Warden, you understand about keeping prisoners fenced in, but maybe you don't understand why Jake Terry's scheme of building a wire fence upset the whole country like it did.
No, what was your objection to that?
Well, it would have been all right if the foxes had sense to keep away from it, but sometimes the foxes just jump right through it. You know, the fox is small enough so that he might get through the fence without getting hurt, but if the hounds follow him, they're sure to get hurt. Well, maybe killed, choked to death, hung up on the wire.
I see. Did you explain all this to Mr. Terry?
Oh, of course we did. We got up a deputation of all the men in the neighborhood and went and called on him. Very civil, but he was just ugly.
You listen to me, Spring Davis. If your hounds get hurt, it'll be their own fault. I'm going to build a fence. Hog-tied, bull-strong, and horse-high to keep them out.
But, Mr. Terry, can't you build a fence to keep your sheep in and still not hurt our hounds? And besides, our hounds never killed any sheep.
Well, they ain't going to get a chance.
Nobody ever put up such a fence in these parts.
Well, mine will be the first, then.
But, Mr. Terry, now look...
Come on, Benji, we're going.
There's something else you better hear before you tear off. A hound ain't the only thing that's going to get hurt if it comes around my property.
There ain't nobody going to get hurt, Mr. Terry, unless you say so. Well, when Terry passed that remark about a hound ain't the only thing that'll get hurt if it comes around, he was referring to my son Benji. You see, Benji was going with Terry's daughter, Camden. Yes, sir, it made things awful hard for Benji when the trouble come. Well, Terry got his fence built, and one night we was all hunting, all but Benji. He was out with the Terry girl. Well, the fox happened to run for Terry's place, and we hustled over there to try to head him off. But one of Cal Royster's hounds is already hurt, trying to get through the fence, and Bugle Ann wasn't with the rest of the pack. So we clumb over the fence into Terry's pasture to have a look around. I blew my bugle for the hound. Well, there wasn't no answer.
Come on, get out of this pasture.
Oh, howdy, Jacob. I come in here after my hound. He say, careful with that gun.
If your dog is here, it's got no good business among my sheep.
It's Bugle Ann. She wouldn't hurt nothing. But she's small enough to come through your fence when the fox brings her here.
Now, listen, get this straight, you old buzzard. I'm going to raise sheep. And I don't care a hang for all the hounds in the state. You keep yours off of my land, or they'll get a dose of number 10 shot in the hind end.
Here's Benji.
Well, what's the matter?
Well, something's happened to Bugle Ann.
One of my hounds got cut open, Terry. I don't reckon you could be decent enough to staple down those ragged ends of wire, could you? Or shall I come around and staple them for you?
No, you won't. That fence is mine. you good-for-nothing ridge runner.
No, just a
Let
minute.
go of that
No,
gun.
no, no. Stay out of this, son.